Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is exposing the constant disrespect towards Giannis Antetokounmpo. So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, make sure you check out Dreamerspro Max, an online sports community place you can talk about basketball, chat live during games. We have that linked in the comment section. And also make sure you click the join button and become a member of the channel. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. This is something we've touched on recently, but I'm beginning to see that there's something that's still pervasive. So I said, hey, let's touch on it today. So all throughout Giannis Antetokounmpo's career, according to my understanding from the things that I've noticed that different members in the media have been taking shots at Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? At every opportunity, they found a way to criticize him. Now, there were some instances in his career where it was justified, right? Moments in which he was playing and he just fell short. And that's something that's warranted for every single player. If you don't play up to snuff and if you don't show up when your team needs you the most, then you deserve to be criticized. However, with Giannis Antetokounmpo, I feel as if that these guys are singling him out, right? They're not so much talking about the lack of his accomplishments. They're more so focused on him as a player as far as his skill level. Everything about Giannis is, well, he's not skilled. He's not skilled. You usually tend to hear, oh, the only reason that he's that good is because he's tall and athletic. If he wasn't that tall, if he wasn't that athletic, there's no way he would be this good in basketball. First of all, let me just say this. Basketball selects out, the sport selects out for tall and athletic people. The taller you are, up to a certain height, you would have a significant advantage over somebody else. For instance, a guy that was 5'9" or 5'10" trying to play basketball. Let's just cut it out, right? Basketball selects out for tall people. It's almost like a prerequisite. So you need to be tall. Everybody's tall, right? Given the fact that Giannis Antetokounmpo is tall, it's not something that's unique to him. It's what the sport requires for you to play at a high level. You need to be tall, and certain positions require you to be a certain height. If you're going to be a point guard, you need to be between 6'1" to 6'3", 6'4". Guard 6'4" to 6'7". Small forward 6'6" to 6'8". Power forward 6'8" to 6'10", and then centers everything up, right? This is just the way basketball is. But for whatever reason, they tend to use this as an argument with Giannis Antetokounmpo. And ever since he's become a champion, I've noticed that some of the criticism have ramped up, right? Especially from people like Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Smith, Kendrick Perkins. Now, James Harden has him and Giannis Antetokounmpo and James Harden have had a back and forth for God knows how long. But James Harden is also one of these people that said, oh, Giannis, I wish I was that tall. I wish all I could do was just run and dunk the ball, right? Basically saying that Giannis Antetokounmpo is not a skilled player. We heard some of the comments that Kevin Durant had to say about Giannis Antetokounmpo. A private conversation that he had with Jay Williams, who works at ESPN, who revealed some of those comments. Who revealed a private conversation between him and Kevin Durant as it pertained to Giannis Antetokounmpo, where Kevin Durant just basically said, hey, listen, man, don't compare me to Giannis Antetokounmpo. Don't compare me to this dude. And I'm assuming KD was saying, please, this dude is not even skilled, right? I'm assuming that's the angle that Kevin Durant was coming from. But yesterday, I was listening to Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp, who had been on a vacation or a hiatus or whatever it was. They came back, and they were talking about who's the best player in the world. I think Kevin Durant was ranked as number one. And they were arguing over where Giannis Antetokounmpo ranks, right? And Skip Bayless had some pretty poignant things to say about Giannis Antetokounmpo. So before I go too far, I want you guys to take a listen to some of the comments that Skip Bayless made about Giannis Antetokounmpo. So take a listen.
At some point in time, you're going to have to get... This man had 3 40-point games out of 6.
Mm-hmm. The guy,
at a 50-piece.
The guy who flamed out and shrank against Toronto and Miami. The guy that you often criticized, you said he can't shoot. What is he shooting threes for? He can't shoot a lick. This is the guy who airballs free throws just like Luka. Between Giannis and Luka, they lead the league in airball free throws.
Well, Skip, how old was Jordan when he won his first championship? Was he 26?
Somewhere in there. I don't know.
He wasn't 26.
90s. Yeah.
This guy 26 years old. Mm-hmm. He's a 2-time MVP.
Okay.
He's a defensive player of the year.
You can't make the case. He's got too many holes in his game.
Skip, He got
holes.
Skip. He got holes in his game, but he averaged 35 and 13.
Okay. You taking him over Kevin Durant? No, you're
Skip,
not.
I'll say right
Stop
now.
it.
Skip, right now.
Nobody's taking him over Kevin Durant.
He's the best player.
Nope.
He's the most dominant player. He's the most dominant player right now. He's the most dominant player right now. He's Shaq.
Nope.
He's Shaq.
He's not.
He's Shaq. See what y'all did is that when Shaq was doing what he was doing, Shaq's dominant. Y'all look at Giannis, he got no skills. He's the exact same thing. He's just as dominant as Shaq. He had a playoff series like Shaq, most dominant. That's what he did.
Monty, build the wall. Make him shoot jump shots. Did they make him shoot any? Nope, they didn't.
Skip, it's not Giannis' fault. Giannis says, okay, this is where y'all gonna play me. I'm gonna punish you.
He did.
Okay.
He punished him. Kevin Durant, it's like even in the Olympics, it was like 1-on-3. There are 3 guys chasing Kevin Durant, and they can't stop him because he's the best player on the planet. Never seen him more.
Well, Giannis, the Bucks stopped him.
No more efficient.
The Bucks stopped him.
Have you ever seen a more efficient jump shooting scorer?
The Bucks stopped him.
Yeah.
The Bucks stopped right here. The Bucks stopped in Brooklyn.
Did they?
Yeah.
Just because a toenail was over the line?
Fear the deer.
Couldn't stop him. Couldn't stop him.
Fear the deer.
No, it's a weak argument.
Now, in that soundbite, Skip Bayless is basically saying that Giannis Antetokounmpo is not really good because he's not really skilled. And Shannon Sharp makes a very strong argument, which is Shaq wasn't that skilled. And we never put Shaq through this. But for whatever reason, Giannis Antetokounmpo has to walk through this this fire full of coals. Right? And he's like, why are we singling out this guy? This guy's done some pretty extraordinary things. Why are we singling him out? And I have a few thoughts on this. First of all, I think some of the reasons that Giannis Antetokounmpo is being criticized like this or being nitpicked like this is something that we spoke about in a video before with the elephant in the room. I think it's because he's not American born. I think that if Giannis Antetokounmpo was born in the States, went through the system, I think players would probably have more respect for him. I think the fact that he's an outsider, he wasn't born in the United States, he didn't go through what other players went through. I feel like it's if they look at him as an outsider. That's the kind of sense I tend to get. Giannis Antetokounmpo seems to be the odd man out. He doesn't like to participate in that whole AAU buddy NBA thing where guys train in the offseason and play. I don't think Giannis Antetokounmpo is just that type of person. I just don't get that sense. And it may be something that rubs some players the wrong way. They may look at Giannis like, who does this guy think he is? What do you mean you don't want to play with us? Like, who is this guy? And all of a sudden, we go back to high school, right? You have the cool group and a group of kids that are not cool, right? And the cool kids are always making fun of the kids that are not cool. I feel like this is like high school on the NBA level, to be quite honest with you. I feel like some of that is going on. But I feel like there's this narrative out there that international players are not skilled. And I think it's a narrative we need to nip in the bud immediately, okay? There have been some extremely skilled international players. You don't have to go too far to think of Dirk Nowitzki, who beat the brakes off of the Miami Heat in the NBA Finals that had LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. Dirk Nowitzki, Shawn Marion, JJ Barea, Jason Terry, and these guys gave these dudes the business. Dirk Nowitzki's a German guy. He's a German player. You think of Manu Ginobili. Manu Ginobili is one of the most skilled guards ever. Kobe Bryant and all of these guys will tell you that for free. Even Skip Bayless will tell you that for free. And of course, Luka Doncic, right? So they're very skilled international players. And I think this is something we need to eliminate. Again, we're going back to this thing of this thing is looking xenophobic, it's looking very provincial. This is our game. It's not there. We need to cut all of that out. Basketball is a global game. It's a global sport, and you want the sport to expand. And I think this is something we need to eliminate immediately. The fact of the matter is this: Giannis Antetokounmpo is great for basketball. He's expanding the sport. Number one. Number two. Very few players have accomplished what this guy's accomplished in a 4-year span. In the last 4 years, he's won 2 regular season MVPs. Back-to-back, a Defensive Player of the Year, a championship, and a Finals MVP. That's a pretty impressive run. That's pretty impressive. Giannis Antetokounmpo may not be the most skilled player in the NBA, sure. But that two-way play that he had on DeAndre Ayton, when he was able to guard the pick and roll and then recover and block the shot without fouling him, not many basketball players in the world could do that. Kevin Durant can't do that. Obviously, Giannis cannot score with the level of efficiency. He can't score as a jump shooter like Kevin Durant Kevin Durant ain't making that play. Let's not even kid ourselves. I'm not even sure Kawhi Leonard makes that play or LeBron James. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. It takes skill to do that. It takes great timing. It takes feel for the game. You have to have a certain level of defensive awareness to do that. It's just like, oh, he just ran. Like, just if it's just that, why aren't more players doing it? I'll give you an example of somebody who is, in my opinion, one of the laziest players in NBA history. I'll give you an example of somebody, and I'm going to juxtapose their career to Giannis Antetokounmpo, who I believe is one of the laziest players you ever see play basketball. You know who that player is? Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, this may sound controversial, but it's really not, is one of the laziest players you will ever see play basketball. One of the laziest, who just does enough to get by. Let me give you guys Giannis Antetokounmpo's growth. First of all, since Giannis Antetokounmpo is coming to the NBA, he's put on 50 pounds of weight, of muscle, 50 pounds of muscle. And he looks like one of these guys that has a difficult time gaining weight because look how lean he is, even with all that weight. Just imagine how much work it had to take for him to put on 50 pounds of muscle over his career. Let me give you Giannis Antetokounmpo's growth over his career. His first year in the league, he came into the NBA in 2013. Right? First year in the league, he was averaging 6.8 points per game. The next year he was averaging 12.7. The next year he was averaging 17. The next year he was averaging 23. The next year he was averaging 27. The next year he was averaging 27.7. The next year he was averaging 29.5. Last year he was averaging 28.1. In the last 4 years, I just said two regular season MVPs, a defensive player of the year, finals MVP, and an NBA championship ring. That's Giannis's growth over the last 4 years and over his career. Let me show you Ben Simmons. First year in the NBA, he averaged 16 points a game. Next year, he averaged 16.9. Next year, he averaged 16.4. Last year, he averaged 14 points per game. Field goal shooting percentage has been the same. The first 2 years of his NBA career, he shot 0% from the free throw line for the year. 2 years ago, he shot 28.6, and the year before, he shot 30%, but from the three-point line, he attempted 0.2. That's Ben Simmons, one of the laziest players out there. Giannis Antetokounmpo may not have some of the gifts that other players have as far as shooting, but one thing you can't accuse him of is not being a hard worker. You don't get to that level and not be a hard worker. You don't. You don't. Look at James Harden when James Harden showed up to the NBA season when he didn't want to play with the Rockets. Look how out of shape he was. I think James Harden needs to be quiet when he talks about Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't think you can put those two guys in the same class when it comes to work ethic. I don't. I think he needs to be quiet. Look at Giannis and look at James Harden. James Harden showed you he didn't give a F about basketball at that point. Look how he showed up to the game. Look how he showed up and looked. They were making memes out of this guy. I think people need to give Giannis Antetokounmpo's respect. They need to get over it. You need to get over it. There's enough space for everybody in the NBA. People need to get over it. He's a great player. Kevin Durant is great. So is Giannis. So is Kawhi. So is LeBron. They're all great. Let's not try to tear this guy down just to prop up somebody else. Those are my thoughts and opinions. So what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think? What do you think about all of this? What do you think about the comments of Skip Bayless? What do you think of my comments? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro, wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode.